Hey, it's Jeff with ID10T Garage, and we're back working on the 71 Torino GT. In this episode, we're going to go ahead and finish up our torque box, get a couple little things finished up, and then start fitting our toe board. We got a one-piece toe board that we got to get fit, so we got to cut some of the trans tunnel and, just start getting everything lined up properly that'll match up with the floorboard. And on top of that, we need to continue to remove the rot from the rear of the car, so I need to go all the way back to the rear shock area, I guess, just behind the rear torque boxes on this car. I also got to have to cut up some of the torque box itself. There's a lot of rot in the front of it, so we'll start working on that. But let's get to it.
In my veins, I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame, cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stop.
Hey, we're back out here, about to get back to work. Got a couple little things to finish up on the torque box. Basically, we need to do some grinding. We need to put a little rocker panel piece on that's a support bracket, and paint it, coat it, seam seal it, and then start working on the one-piece floor. Well, we'll probably start with the toe board, but needless to say, it's time to get to work on some stuff. So here we go. Alright guys, after some spot welding, I said fuck it, we got it in place, hammered it a little closer, and then just welded the top and the side just from some extra structural weld, because I really didn't know how well that was put together. It looked like it was kind of bent and partially cut, so it was coming apart in some spots, so I welded it nice and tight. I had cleaned the edges a little bit before I welded it, of course, but it's in place. I need to cut off this end to match up, but then we can do some cleaning. So, on to that. There it is. We cleaned up some of our welds and then just coated it in Rust-Oleum. Gotta let that dry a little bit, and also need to go get some seam sealer. I like to double check my welds and just make sure they're sealed up good and just coat them in seam sealer, usually brushable type. That's just something I do just to make sure to keep the moisture out and all that good stuff. But pretty happy with it. It coated really nice. The welds ground down really easy. I didn't see a whole lot of holes or pitting or anything in them, so that's good. But that's probably it for the day. Like I said, I gotta go get seam sealer, but we'll probably come back out here tomorrow and start fitting the toe board. I also coated over top of all the seam sealer and Rust-Oleum that was over there, so now we both have both our torque box officially in. So we're gonna start working on the floors and all that stuff real soon. Hey everybody, we're about to get back to work now. Today's a big day. We're gonna go ahead and seam seal our torque box on the driver's side, and once we finish that, be a quick process, but once we finish that, we're gonna start fitting our toe board. So I'm probably gonna do some cutting, probably try to flange the center of the trans tunnel That way we're just gonna fit our toe boulder on that and pretty much just start getting everything put in place with clamps to see where we can, you know, get this toe board, probably put some sheet metal screws in it, get it really lined up where we want it and set. That way we can start figuring out the one-piece floor pan. So that's what we're doing today. Let's go. Alright, so what you've seen so far is we've got this seam sealed and we've got it pretty much aligned on each side. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little hole on each side of the rockers and I'm right at the same distance on each side, which took some adjustment because I'm not sure what's straight, what's not straight when it comes to these rockers. I was trying to line it up with that divot, the tip of the divot right there where you can see, kind of see my chalk line, but on this side, it's on the driver's side, it's actually further back than on the passenger side, so it didn't line up right and it wasn't lining up. I'm also using this little curve on these floor supports to do some alignment, so I've got it basically lined up there. So that's kind of what we're working with. And now I'm working on cutting the rest of the trans tunnel out because I'm having some fitment issues, and I think it's that little hump in the middle that's causing my issues. I needed to cut it either way to get rid of some of the overlap, but that's what we're about to do. Cut that out and see if we can get the center hump lined up a little bit better. All right, after getting that fit pretty decently, I went ahead and cut a bunch of the excess off. As you can see, I have a nice little curvature because that's just kind of how it went when trying to cut that hump underneath the dash. But we cut a lot of the excess off. That way we only have a little bit of a lip underneath it. Popped a bunch of the holes in for welding. I still need to put some more for where it's going to attach to the floor brace. But we'll have to start cleaning this and clean the metal on the inside before we start even thinking about welding. I also have to coat everything in weld through primer, which is what I like to do. And then before we even start welding, I'll probably start fitting the floor. That way we want to make sure that this fits where it's supposed to in accordance with the floor itself. But yeah, that's where we are right now. All right, after getting that fit pretty decently, I went ahead and cut a bunch of the excess off. As you can see, I have a nice little curvature because that's just kind of how it went when trying to cut that hump underneath the dash. But we cut a lot of the excess off. That way we only have a little bit of a lip underneath it. Popped a bunch of the holes in for welding. I still need to put some more for where it's going to attach to the floor brace. But we'll have to start cleaning this and clean the metal on the inside before we start even thinking about welding. I also have to coat everything in weld through primer, which is what I like to do. And then before we even start welding, I'll probably start fitting the floor. That way we want to make sure that this fits where it's supposed to in accordance with the floor itself. But yeah, that's where we are right now. Hey everybody, we're about to get back to work, starting to get prepped for this floor pan. Basically what I need to do is go ahead and start getting the rear section of the floor off and a couple more brackets around the rear torque boxes. So we're going to start focusing on trying to reveal those welds. So basically the spot welds, I need to reveal those and find out where those are and see if I can bust them free and get that rear section off. So that's what we're about to do. Later. Okay, it ain't pretty, but we got all the rear section off. Still got to do some cleanup everywhere, but the whole floor is now officially out. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning into this week's episode. We got a lot of work done. We finally finished up that torque box. We got the toe board fitted, and we got all the metal out of the rear of the car. So we're pretty close to start fitting this floor pan, the one-piece floor pan. So I'm going to have to remove the door, and I'm going to have to do some work just to get it in, to not have to remove the windshield, but we have to figure that all out. But as always, like, subscribe, comment, and check out some of my other videos. Peace.
in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping out.